John Wilner joins the show, the Wilner Hotline. John, thank you for always taking the time.
My
So
pleasure.
let's get right into this. ASU, obviously, tough game. Went into halftime down 17-3, fought back, took the lead, but comeback was not complete. What, in your perspective, though, shifted for ASU from the first to the second half?
Well, I think they were kind of on their heels from the get-go there. It's loud. I know they did the cowbell thing in practice last week, but it is not the same as being there. I think Mississippi State's a little better than they were last year, and this is the new world for ASU. They're the favorite going into SEC country. They don't have Cam Skattebo. They got more reliance on their passing game. They're the hunted, and it's a different dynamic. First half, totally on their heels. I thought the defense saved them. I mean, that game, it could have been 31-3 at half or, 27-3, something like that. The only reason they were in it at halftime was because the defense played so well. They got the ground game going, but again, not having Scatterbo early in the game, you don't have that horse to kind of establish the line of scrimmage and set the tempo. So, they got back to the basics there. Second half, Levitt found some rhythm. Great shape. That was an incredible drive, 95 yards, every play but one a run. You really sense their offensive line kind of regained the physical upper hand at the line of scrimmage. But then they just had that one breakdown on defense with the coverage on the 55, 60 yard pass. And that was it. One play. They had done everything they could have asked. I mean, that would have been an incredible win. They'd come back. Even if Mississippi State is not very good, which I think we can expect, it would have been an amazing win. And yet, one play. And you can debate the coverage they were in on that play. But bottom line is, it's a new world for them in this season.
And last year that one play went in their
Yeah,
direction
a
a
lot of
bunch of
times.
times, right?
That's right.
So that's what people like to forget. In general, when you think about, I know it's early, you think about that college football playoff down the line,
Yeah.
you know, not the cleanest win against NAU, a loss to Mississippi State. How worried should Sun Devil fans be?
Well, I think that they should be pretty worried because with that loss, I don't think they're going to get an at-large bid, right? Even their only way into the playoff is to win the Big 12, I think. If they are a one loss, if they lose once in the Big 12, right, don't win the Big 12 championship. So they're either 10-2 or 11-2 non-champ. I don't think they're going to get in because that's not going to be a good loss to Mississippi State unless somehow Mississippi State's a big turnaround story and they're in the top half of the SEC. I just don't see how a two-loss Big 12 team, when it's a bad loss like that, I just don't see how they're going to get in. So ASU really their path is to win the Big 12. Now they could do that by going, any number of ways to get into the Big 12 championship, but they're going to have to win that game, I think.
Now, let's talk the 2-0 Wildcats. Two dominant wins for U of A. They put
Yep,
up
yep.
40 plus. They held their opponents to under 10. What's working in Tucson?
Well, there's a lot working. I'm certainly we got to say the competition has not been great, right? But my view is that teams that are good, you almost have to reverse engineer it. Teams that have good seasons dominate bad opponents, right? Those wins aren't going to guarantee Arizona is going to be good, but I think if you struggle against those type of teams, that pretty much shows you're not going to have a good season. So it looks good for Arizona after 2 weeks, right? Now, this is a big one, real big this week. I think this is kind of a pivot point game for them. Kansas State has struggled, and it's non-conference, but it's a huge game for Brent Brennan if he wants to get bowl eligible. Noah Fafita looks, I don't want to say he looks like the quarterback he was in 2023, but he is like if 23 is one end of the spectrum and 24 is the other end, he's closer to 23, right? He looks like he's playing unburdened. I like the way he's distributing the ball. He's making good decisions, run or pass. They're running the ball. Now, we'll see. The competition steps up this week, but I think they've got a really good chance. And then they've got Oklahoma State, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks. They're obviously in disarray. So Arizona's got a real chance. I think they could be 5-1 after the first half of the season. The Iowa State game is going to be real tough in Ames. But like if you're mapping out a path for Brent Brennan to save his job, get them into the postseason, everything you needed to see to this point, you're seeing.
So that really was my question. Is it a matter of number of wins if he gets bowl eligible? Is his job safe? Is that what we're talking about?
Certainly think he's safe if they get to 6-6. Um, Now, what happens if they are 5-7 and they are competitive every week? And there's a scenario in which they could be 5-7, beat ASU, but still be 5-7, right? What happens then? What happens if they finish with a win over ASU, but they've had, a couple of 3-point or 5-point losses so that there is clear progress, clear momentum coming out of the ASU game? Do they make a change at that point? I'm not sure that they would. So I don't think it's completely cut and dry that he's got to get to the postseason, get 6 wins. Certainly that would get him over the hump. But, there's some nuance there with how you get to 5-7 and where the wins are, how competitive you are. So, it's hard to say for sure he's got to win X or he's going to get fired.
Thank you as always, John, delivering the goods. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.